Hello. How are you, friends? I welcome you to ifactoner.com HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial series, and in this tutorial series we will be making a full functional website, and these tutorials are aimed at the beginners to intermediate level programmers who have been developing the websites or who are new to the website development. So it is better if you know some HTML tags and CS how cascading style sheets work, but if you do not know how do they work, I will be telling you in the tutorials. So in these tutorials we will be using the new HTML5 tags to build our website, and some of the tags which we will be discussing in detail in our tutorials are the header tag, the nav tag for navigation, the section tag, article tag, a site tag, footer tag for the footers, and H group for heading grouping in HTML5. And in CSS3 we will be focusing on some of the more specific properties in CSS3, and those properties include float, display, vertical align, list style display, and other CSS3 properties. And we will be using a mockup to develop our website and to discuss about the new tags in HTML5, and in the end we will be making a site like this. This site would have 3 links: home, tutorials, and contact me section or the web pages, and this mockup shows the index.html page of our website. So friends, let's begin with the discussion on the new tags in HTML5. The older version of HTML, that was HTML 4.1, was not updated since 2001. In 2004, W3C Worldwide Consortium formed a group named WHATWG, and during that period a new standard for HTML, that was XHTML 1.0, was introduced, but it used a strict method, so people were making a lot of mistakes and they were just following the HTML 4.0 standard that was more lenient. So in 2004 they started looking at the websites, and they found that most of the websites had some sections in common, and those sections were the header section, a navigation section, a sidebar either on the left or on the right, the main section containing the main content of the website, and the footer section. So they decided to introduce some new tags in HTML5. Before the introduction of HTML5, people and the programmers were using the division tags to form those sections, but the group decided to introduce header tag for the header section, nav tag for the navigation to form the links so people would be able to navigate through the website, a sidebar with and a side tag, a main section containing the section tag, and different articles within the main section, and those articles were represented by the article tag. And as usual, we can see that most of the websites have got the footer section, and we use footer tag to do our task in html5. So guys and girls, this was the introductory tutorial number 1 of HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will be developing our template, and we will be developing an external style sheet, and we will be linking our page with that external style sheet, and we will be using these tags in our next tutorial. So I will see you in the next tutorial. Take care. Bye bye. What is going on, guys? I welcome you to ifactoner.com video tutorials, and in this video tutorial series, that is HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial, we are discussing about how to make a full functional website for beginners. So let's begin. And guys and girls, we have decided that we would be making a website like this using the new HTML5 tags and CSS3 properties. To begin, I will make a new web page, and I would name it template.html. One more thing, guys and girls, that I am using a Notepad++, a software called Notepad++. It's free, and you can also download it by searching it on the net. And I would make a new web page, so I click on File, New, and it opens a new page for me, and I would name this page as template.html. So I click on File, Save As, and I name it as template, and in Save As type I select .html, hypertext markup language file, and I click on the Save button. For new HTML5, we begin our coding like it. You use less than sign, explanation sign, and you type doc type HTML. For HTML tags, we usually use HTML tags in less than and greater than tags. So you begin your HTML tag with less than sign and ends it with greater than sign. And the first HTML tag is HTML, and I would close the HTML tag. Within the HTML tag, you can specify the language, and I would be using English. That's why I use HTML lang equals to n. And the HTML document has got two main parts. Number one is head, and the other part is the body. And we whatever we develop in our web pages, we develop it in the body tag. And head tag is usually for specifying the titles, meta tags, and for search engine optimization, and to include some files. So in the head tag, we have got a title tag, and you can give the title in the title tag ifactoner.com video tutorials, because I would be making a website for ifactoner.com. And I have given the title tag, and in the body tag I can give the different tags which I would be using in my web page. So we have decided that we want to make a website like this, and this website and web pages would have a header section, a navigation section, a left hand side bar section, the main section, and the footer section. So to begin our header section, we use the header tag. And guys and girls, please note that whenever I start a tag, I end it with slash that tag. And I like Notepad++ because it formats your tags really well, and you can use Notepad if you would like to do it. In the header section, we can see that we have got a logo and we have got a welcome message. So logo is basically an image file, so I use image tag and I give the source because my file would be in the same directory as my template.html file. Therefore I just gave source equals to logo.htm, and I know that the width of my logo would be 150 pixel and the height of my logo would be 100 pixels. And guys and girls, one more thing, an important thing to note is that you should be giving the IDs of each and every tag, and that is a good practice. But if you do not give the tags IDs to the tags, then you can always do that later on when we will be developing our web CSS style sheet. So right now I just give it that the image source is logo.html, the width of the image is 150 pixels, height is 100 pixels, and if you do not find the file, then alternatively you can say that iFactoner logo. So if the image cannot be shown, then text would be shown saying iFactoner logo. And if we see our template, then we have got a message that would display welcome to ifactoner.com video tutorials. So it is just a simple paragraph saying welcome to ifactoner.com video tutorials, and I end that tag with /p. So now we have got our header section, and if we save our template and go to run menu and launch in Chrome, because I'm using Chrome on my computer, and if you are using Firefox or IE, you can just select the browser you would like to check your pages in. So I click on launch in Chrome, and right now we have got a simple page, and that page is showing our text iFactoner logo, because that picture we have not put our logo in the directory, and it is just showing welcome to ifactoner.com video tutorials. So now we have made a header, but that header doesn't look anything like this header, or our page is not looking like that. But we would be using the cascading style sheets in our next tutorials to make our header being shown like this. And in the next tutorial we would be putting more tags in the navigation bar, left hand side bar, articles, and the footers. So see you in the next tutorial. Take care. Bye bye. What is going on, guys? I welcome you to ifactoner.com video tutorials, and this is tutorial number 3 in the HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial series by ifactor.com, that is making a full functional website for beginners. And in this section, in this tutorial, we will be making all the sections in our template.html file. Right now we have just made a HTML file, and we have added a code for our header. Right now our page looks like this, which is nothing like our template. So we would now be using the nav tag for the navigations, and under the header tag I add another tag nav. For the navigation we just use nav, not the full navigation word. And under the nav tag we want to have 3 links, and for that I create an unordered list, the bulleted list, and I would add 3 list items. I am using the tab just to format it neatly, and I add 3 list items li, and I will just copy these 2 tags so we do not have to write it again and again. And then list items, we want to have the first list item as home, the second as tutorials, and the third list item as contact us. And right now if we save our page and run it in Chrome, I choose run command and launch in Chrome, then I see that now I have got 3 bulleted points and 3 list items: home, tutorials, and contact us. I would like to make the hyperlinks of these pages or of these this text. So I would go in my template.html file, and to make a hyperlink we use a anchor tag, href hyperreference, and you give the link, the source of your page over here. Right now because I do not have any pages, I just use the hash symbol, and it would, when the user click on this link, it would take him to the same page. So I just close that tag. Always remember to close your tags in HTML5. So I just copy and paste the hyperreference tag 3 times and close it 3 times. I save my page, and I can go to the source file or run command and then choose launch in Chrome, and now look, we have got 3 links, and when I click on these links they just reload the template.html file. And now we see that we have got our header section, our navigation section, and then we want to have a left hand side bar. For that we would be using the aside tag, and I just put the side tag for the sidebar, left hand sidebar, and if you would like to add the sidebar on the right hand side, you can do that also in the same manner as I will be showing you. So on the side toolbar, sidebar, we have got an add and a what's new news section. So I use a heading tag, and add, and I close that heading tag, h1 tag, heading 1 tag, and under that tag we have got a picture add, so I would be giving it img src equals to, and yeah, I have noted one thing, sorry guys and girls, that the source of the image tag of our logo should be logo.jpg, because I have made two files, a logo.jpg and add.jpg file. So I just give add.jpg file, and if I would like to give the width and height of my file, I can give that, but right now I just want the default size to be there, so I just use the alt tag and our add here and write our head here, and I can just close this tag, and sorry I did not close the other tag, so I would close it. So yeah, now we have got an image that would appear underneath our heading, our ad, and then we want another heading, h1 news. I close that tag and our news here, add and paragraph, close it, and then I save it and click on run, launch in Chrome, and check what is going on in our template.html5. So right now I have put two files, that is logo.html and add.html in my in my directory, and I would be uploading it on my website ifechner.com, so you can just download all the source files and the pictures file, and you would be able to do the same thing without making any pictures. So now we have got ifechner.com logo, our ad, and our news section. And what we would like to do is that now we would like to add our section tag and the article tag in our web page to make our articles, and we would be doing it in our next tutorial. I see you in our next tutorial. Until then, take care. Bye bye. What is going on, guys? I welcome you to your fourth HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial by ifechner.com, and in this tutorial series we will be making a full functional website, and these tutorials are aimed at beginners to intermediate level programmers. So now we will continue our discussion on making all our sections. Right now our web page is just a simple old boring white page with some logos and just with some links, but we would like to make it something like it. And right now you would be thinking, how the hell we are going to do that? Excuse me. So we would be using the CSS cascading style sheet, external cascading style sheets, to style our sections, these sections into this format. So trust me and just bear with me. So let's make our sections and articles now. So I go to my template.html file, and under the aside tag I use the section tag. The section tag is basically the main body tag or the main content tag of your website. Under the section tag we can have different articles. So we would like to have two articles. One would be HTML5 and CSS3 tutorials, and the other would be computer networking tutorials. So in my section tag I would add another tag, another child tag, that is the article tag, and I close the article tag. And under the article tag, I know I would be using heading 1, and that heading 1 would say html5 and css3 tutorials, and I close that tag. And under that tag I just want to add an heading 2, and which would say that these are the video based tutorials, and I close that tag. Now whenever we are using headings, it is better to give to use the h group tag to group those headings, so it would be easier to format at the later stages. So I use h group tag and use both heading 1 and heading 2 under that h group tag, and we would be giving IDs to all these tags later on. And under that heading I just want to add a paragraph for all my HTML5 and CSS3 tutorials. Please click here, or whatever you would like to write, you can do that, and I close that tag. And one more thing, guys and girls, that you can divide your article into 3 parts. That is your header part, your main content part, and your footer part. So how can we do that? That is simple. That if we want to give it under the header tag, I use the header tag. So we would be able to stylize it with yellow background. So I give the header tag under the article tag. So you can our article has also got the header tag, the main body tag, and the footer tag. So I give footer by ifectner, and I close that footer, and I close that article. So I would just copy it with Ctrl C and paste it with Ctrl V, and I would just make some changes. I do not want to type it again, so I just say networking tutorials, video based tutorials. For all my networking tutorials, please visit ifectner.com by ifectner.com, and so on and so forth. Now we have got our articles in our section. So I save it and run it in Chrome, and check now that we have got 2 articles, and this is our left hand bar, this is the navigation, and this is our header. So now we want to make a footer. So how can we make a footer with the footer tag? So I just use a footer tag. If it's not formatted right, I just use the tag tab, and I close the footer tab, and in the footer you can write anything. So I would say copyrights by ifectner.com, and I save it, and I click on run, launch in Chrome, and now we have got all the tags, if you would like to see. So now we have got the by ifectner and copyrights by ifectner.com tag. So now we have made all the sections but now we need to format those sections into something like this, and for that we would be using an external cascading style sheet. The style sheet is used to for the styling purposes of your page. Right now your page is simple, old, dumb, white web page, and it's not very attractive. So to make our style sheet, we click on File, New in the Notepad++. You can use Notepad if you would like to, and I click on File, Save As, and I save it as type CSS, Cascading Style Sheet. And this is the cascading style sheet, and I would name it, let's suppose, ifectner.css. Now we have got an ifectner.css file, cascading style sheet, and a template.html file. And now we would like to link our web page with the cascading style sheets and start beginning our styling. And usually we link our cascading style sheet in the head tag. So I would use style sheet. Okay, guys and girls, we would do it in our next tutorial, so because the time is up, and we would continue our discussion. So take care, bye bye. What is going on, guys? I welcome you to ifectner.com video tutorials, and we are discussing about HTML5 and CSS3. This is tutorial number 5, and in this tutorial we will be seeing how can we link our HTML web page with our external cascading style sheet file. To do that, I go to my head section and I write link rel. What is the reference? It is the style sheet, and the type is CSS/text. You just have to tell your page that the type of the file which I would like to link is a style sheet, and it is using a text-based CSS file, and what is the source of the, or what is the reference of the file. So the hyperreference of the file is ifectner.css, because my file is in the same directory as template.html, and that is it. I save it and I refresh my page. Nothing happens. Why? Why? Because there is nothing in our CSS file. So a little introduction of the CSS is that you need a selector, and you use curly braces, and then you type the property and the value of that property, and property number 2 and value of that property. For example, I can write heading 1, and heading 1 color should be black. So that is how you use your CSS files. And to apply it to the global page, you can use asterisk. So I use asterisk, and I say that the margin of our web page should be 0 pixels from top, right, bottom and left, and the padding should also be 0 pixels. So I save my web page and I go to my page and refresh it, and you see that now there is a margin and padding between our web page and our logo and our text, and now if I refresh it, it just goes into the corner. So why am I doing it? just remember that it is a good practice, and it would help you a lot when you are making it for different resolutions and different browsers. And now let us suppose that I just want to use gray background color for my whole body. So I would refer to the body selector, HTML tag body, and I just use the property background color gray. You can refer to CSS tutorials if you would like to do on ifactoner.com, and you would know what am I talking about. I save my CSS file and go to my template.html and run it in Chrome, and now see that whole of my body is gray. Now what we would like to do is that we would like to make a division tag so that all our content is aligned to the middle. Right now it's not looking very good. We want to do something like it, that the contents are in the middle. So for that we use a division tag in our template.html5 HTML, and I use a div tag div, and I give it an ID center centro page or page underscore center. That is a good name, so I gave it a name of page underscore center. You can use and I would close it before the body tag, and you can close the division tag with /div. So now we have got div tag with an ID of page underscore center, and now I go to my ifactoner.css file, and I select the selector, and to select a selector with ID I use a hash sign, and the ID the name of that selector is page underscore center, I think, yeah, page underscore center, and curly braces. Close those curly braces, and now we would like to center our page. To do that I just go to the body, and I type text align colon center, and to end the statement I use semicolon. I save the file and I go to template.html and I run it in Chrome. Now see that all our contents have been centered aligned. But what else do we need to do that? We need our content to be center aligned, but the real content should be left aligned. So I go to my ifactoner.css file, and under the page underscore center container I say that it should be text align left, and it is always a better practice to give the width of your page underscore center or of your content section. So I give the width of 960 because I am designing for the resolution of 978. So it's a better practice to give it the width of 960 because it would be easier to divide our sections. And to comment in CSS file you use /static. The width of our web page is 960, and left sidebar would be 240 pixels. I'm just commenting it for my own purposes, so in the future I would be referring it and dividing it, so it's always a better practice to comment your sections and comment your lines. So I use a comment and I start it with /static and end it with static /. I save it and now I refresh it, and now what happens? It should be left align. So text align is left, and width of our page underscore center is, I save this page, id equals to page underscore center, I check it and I just refresh it. Now see that our page has been left aligned, and it has been left aligned because right now my resolution is less than 960 pixels, so it's now just on the corner of the web page. If your resolution is, let's suppose, 1280 pixels, then you would be seeing that your page is starting from here. And just to prove that our page is working, we use the background color property, background color, and our background color is white. I save it and now I refresh my page, so now it's white in color, and sorry about it. So that is how we have been able to center our content on the page, and now the maximum resolution of our page, or maximum pixels our contents would be using is 960 pixels. And in the next tutorial we would start stylizing our header, our navigation, our left bar, and our sections and articles and footers. So please join me in the next tutorial. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye. Hey guys, welcome to your 6th HTML and CSS3 tutorial by ifactner.com, and we have been discussing about making a full functional website for beginners in HTML and CSS3 tutorial series by ifactner.com. In tutorial number 6, we will be discussing about centering the page, and we will be styling our header. Right now our page looks like something like it, but there is a problem with the CSS file, and I will just mention that problem. In the last tutorial I didn't mention the pixels, that 960 pixels is the width of the contents of the page, and we also have to mention the margins, because right now our page would be is at the corner, or our this page center division is at the corner of the page at the top hand side. So I would mention that the margin is 10 pixels and auto. 10 pixels means that the margin from the top of the page and the bottom of the page would be 10 and 10 pixels, and auto means that the distance from the left hand side and the right hand side would be automatically adjusted. So if your screen is 1280 pixels, so your content would be automatically centered. So I just save this page, I go to template.html and run it in Chrome. So guys and girls, you can see that now our page has been centered, and if you move your window, so you see that it is automatically centered, and the distance from left and right hand side is automatically adjusted. That's what the auto command did to our page. And I'm running it in Google Chrome, and you can also check it in Internet Explorer 9 and Firefox new versions. So now guys, what we want to do is we want the background color of our header to be blue, the background color of our navigation to be black, the background color of our left hand bar to be yellow, and so on and so forth. So what I would do is I would give an ID to my header. So I told you that it's always a good idea to give IDs to your elements. Why? Because we can then refer them to JavaScript files and the cascading style sheet files. So I give the ID of page underscore header to this page, to this header, and now I go to ifactoner.css file, and I know that the background color of my banner should be, of my header should be blue. So I give # page underscore header is the ID, and I will just write background color is blue, and I save my CSS file, go to my Chrome browser and refresh my page, and now you can see that now my background color is blue. And one more thing, that I think that I have given the wrong dimensions for my image, so it should be, let's see, it should be around not 100 but 75 pixels, and sorry about that, I didn't give the pixels over here also. And now I refresh my page, so see now our logo is almost of the same size as this. Now what we would like to do is that the paragraph color should be white, and it should be aligned to our logo in the banner section. And right now what we have got is something like it. So what I have to do is I go to ifactoner.css, and I say that the font color should be white. I save my file and refresh it, and now it's white. Now what we have to do is that we want this tagline to be adjacent horizontally to our logo. And now how can we do that? I go to my template.html file, and I give an ID to my image. Source equals to logo, and I will give an ID of ID equals to logo, and this paragraph is a tagline, therefore I give an ID of tag underscore line to this paragraph. And one thing I would like to tell you is that by default the logo, the paragraphs, and this block, these unordered list, most of the tags or most of the elements are the blocked level elements in HTML5. And to bring these two elements in a line, we want to change their display property to inline property, so they can come in line uh, in front of each other, and therefore we have given IDs to our image and our tagline. I go to my ifactoner.css file and I refer my logo selector and I say that the display is inline, and similarly I just copy this code and I say that the tagline is tag underscore line. The other selector, it is also inline. I save my file and I go to my browser and refresh it, and now see that our logo and our tagline is right now are in front of each other, but there's a problem that in our mockup we want this tagline to be centered and our logo is about 5 pixels, has a padding of 5 pixels from the top, 1 or 2 pixels from the right, 10 pixels from the bottom and 10 pixels from the left hand side. So we will go to our ifactoner.css file and I say that the padding of our logo is it's something like this. It goes in clockwise direction. It starts from the top, then right, RIGH, then bottom, and then left hand side. So I close this comment, and remember you can download this code from my website ifactoner.com, and the padding is top is like 5 pixels. From right here it should be 2 pixels between the distance between the logo and the tagline, and from the bottom it should be 10 pixels, and from the left hand side we want to give 10 pixel spacing, and we want we want to align it vertically in the middle. So I would be using another property, vertical align. Vertical align can be top, bottom or middle. So I just give it the value of middle. I save my file, go to my browser, refresh it, and now see that our logo and our line has been aligned in the middle. So I can also, just to be on the safer side, I just copy the vertical align middle property and value in the tagline selector also. So now friends, we have just make our header, and now in the next tutorial we will be styling our navigation bar like this. So see you in the next tutorial. Take care. Bye bye. Hey guys and girls, welcome to your 7th HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial by ifactoner.com, and we are making a full functional website using new HTML5 tags and CSS3 styling techniques. And in this tutorial we will be styling the navigation bar of our page. Right now our navigation bar looks like this, and this is not beautiful because we want our navigation bar to look like this, and in the page mockup we want it to be like this. So there has to be a spacing, the links have to be white in color, and there are no bullet points, and they are all inline. So the first thing which I would like to do is to go into my template.html file and give an ID to my nav tag. So because it's the page navigation or top navigation, I give it an ID of page underscore nav, and I save my file, and now I go to my CSS file, that is ifectioner.css, and I would give a background color to my navigation bar. So I would refer to my page underscore nav selector, and I say that the background color of this bar should be black. I save my file, I go to template.html, click on command button in Notepad++ and launch init Chrome. And now if I refresh it, it doesn't change into black color. So what is the problem? It's page underscore nav. We have, oh sorry, I have written black. It's BLACK. So you have to remember either the name, either the RGB A values or the hex values. So I refresh it and now see that our navigation bar has turned into black in color, but our links are in a block format, and we want to change those links, which are the list items of unordered list, into inline format. To do that, I go to my ifectioner.css file, I refer to my page underscore nav, and what I want to do is to use the selector unordered list, and I would like that unordered list style type to none, because I do not want any bullets in front of my links. So I type list style type to none. I save my CSS file, go to my page, refresh it, and now see that the bullets are gone. Now I want these links to be white. So what I would do, I would tell my CSS file to change the anchor tags, or the, you can say, link tags into white color. So I change the property of anchor tag color into white, and I save my file. Once again I will go and check it, and now my links are white in color. But I want these links to be inline and not to be in a block format. So I go to my page and I tell my page to select page underscore nav list items, the bulleted list items, 3 items, and what should be the display is not in the block format, but display is in inline format. And I save it, go to my page, refresh it, and now see that our links are in the inline format, but we want some spacing between our links, and that can be achieved with the padding properties. So what I would say is that the list items should have the padding, that there should be the space between the links, and that should be 10 pixels from top right, bottom, and left. I save it, and when I refresh it, I see that the distance between the padding has been applied horizontally but not vertically. Why is that? It is because I also have to apply the padding of the background of the main page underscore nav to 10 pixels. I just copy and paste padding 10 pixels in the id page underscore nav. I save my file and I refresh my HTML file and look at it. Now we have got the links in this format. And now we go to our mockup and check it out. That now we have got our header, and we have set our header, we have set our links, and now we want to set our left hand bar and we want to set our sections. So in the next tutorial we will be doing that. So join me in the next tutorial. Take care, guys and girls. Bye bye. Hey guys and girls, welcome to your 8th html5 and css3 tutorial by ifactoner.com. And in this tutorial series we are making a full functional website, a static website for beginners. And in this tutorial number 8 we will be styling our sidebar. Right now if we see our page, it looks like something like this, and we would like our sidebar, our left sidebar, to look like this. So what I would do is I go to my template.html file, and I have already opened it in Notepad++, and I give an ID to my sidebar. So let's suppose we give it an ID of left side. I save my page. I go to ifactoner.css file, and then I scroll down, and then I tell my CSS file to select left underscore side and change its background color to something like yellow. So I write background color, background dash color, and change its property to something like yellow. So before we have been using the name of the colors, but right now we would be using the RGB values, red, green and blue values. I write RGB, and I have already noted the RGB value of that yellow color to be something around 249 and 148. So the RGB values are from 0 to 255 for red, 0 to 255 for blue, green, and 0 to 255 for blue. So it is, I say, something like 148, and I save my file, go to template.html, in the Notepad++, click on run command and launch my file in chrome.html. So now my left hand sidebar has been changed into some color similar to our mockup. Now what I want to do is I want this left hand side to be around 240 pixels wide, and the other two articles, the main articles of my page, should be in front of that left hand sidebar. Right now it is using all the space on my screen. So I tell my CSS file that the width of my left hand sidebar is 240 pixels, right, px, and I also want to use a property called float. So I say that this bar is floating towards the left. So I say float to left. I save my file and I go to my browser, refresh my page and see that now I have created my left hand sidebar. And now what I would like to do is to create my articles into something like this and to put my footer at the bottom of the page. Right now my page is looking like this. So what would we do is that we would use the same float property for our articles, but for the articles we would be using a class because we have got more than one article, as you can see in our HTML file, and we would be doing it in the next tutorial. So see you guys in the next tutorial. Take care. Bye bye. Hey guys and girls, welcome back to your 9th HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial by ifactioner.com, and we are making a full functional website, a static website using HTML5 new tags and CSS3 selectors and properties. So now we would be discussing about how to style our section and articles. Right now our page looks like something like this, and we would like our page to look like this. And for that I would go to my template.html file, and I will give an ID to my section. So because it's the main section, I give it an ID of main section, and I would be using a class for my articles because there would be more than one articles on my page. Therefore I'm not using an ID. An ID is only used to refer to a single selector or single HTML element, but because I would be want to apply the settings to more than one articles, therefore I would be using a class. I would assign this article to the class of main underscore articles, and I would just copy this code and paste in the other article. So now I have assigned both of these articles to the class of main articles. I save my page and then I go to ifactioner.css file and I scroll down, and then because right now I am using I want to refer to my section, and its ID, it says main underscore section. So I refer to main underscore section and I say that it should float towards left. And right now, as you can see that the width of our left hand side is 240 pixels, and the total width of our main content or the page center division is 960 pixels. So that means that we can still use 960 minus 240 pixels, and 960 minus 240 pixels is equal to 720 pixels. So now I have referred to my section, and after that I refer to my class, and to refer to my class I would use dot and my class name, that is main underscore section dot main articles, and I would like to float them towards left, and now I would like to give a padding, because if you see, then there is the padding, there is a space between the two articles. So I say that the padding should be 10 pixels from top, right, bottom and left, and the padding should be 10 pixels. And I also want to give the border, and I say that the border should be solid black and should be 2 pixels wide. So I say that the border is 2 pixels and it should be solid and it should be black, and the width of my article should be 960 minus 240 is 720, and because I am using the padding on both sides, so for one article it is 10 pixel plus 10 pixel, which is equal to 20 pixels, and for the other article 10 pixel plus 10 pixel, which is equal to 20 pixels. So I have right now 720 minus 40, 680 pixels left, and I divide it by 2 because I have got 2 articles, and I'm left with a space of 340 pixels for each article. And to be on the safer side, I just assign it 30 pixels wide, and the height should be of each article should be around 150 pixels. So that is how you calculate the size of your articles and the left hand side. So you can use the calculator to do that. And I save my articles now. This I have actioner.css file. I go to template.html file and launch it in Chrome via Notepad++. So now it is being loaded, and now we have got as the articles like this, but it shouldn't be like this. So let me check that the class is this, the main articles, and these should float towards left, width should be 330 pixels and height should be 50 pixels. So I'm always missing px scale, and then now I refresh it, but there's some problem, so I think I just need to change this width, and I refresh my file. No, let me reduce it to 300 pixels and refresh it. So there's some problem, guys. There's some problem, and that problem might be that I haven't given the width for my section. I give the width and then go and refresh it, and there is still some problem. So it is not showing it right, and I have just found out that I had made a mistake, that in over here in template.html file I haven't closed it right. So it should be article and it should close like this, and similarly this article should close like this. So I'm sorry about it, and I haven't closed the section also, so it should close like this /section. I save my file and go to my browser and refresh it, and now you can see that we have got our section, our articles in front of each other. And one more thing I would like to do is to go into my ifactoner.css file and give the background color of my section to white. And that is it, and I refresh my page and it looks something like it. But there's a problem that my footer is along with my sections and articles, and I need it to be at the bottom of the page. So what would I do is I go to template.html file and give my footer an ID of page underscore footer, and save my page, go to ifactoner.css file, and I say that select page underscore footer and property clear the floating from both sides, and its background color should be gray. I save my file and then I go to my browser and refresh it and look at my footer. Now it is gray in color, but the problem is that my page background color is also gray, so I don't need my page background color to be gray anymore, because according to the template it should be white. I just delete the page background property, so it would be the default property. And now I want this copyright by ifactoner message to be center aligned. To do that, I just go to the bottom of my page footer properties and I say that the text align of page footer should be center. I save my page and refresh it in my browser, and now we have got a page something like this. Now it is starting to look like our template, and in the next tutorial we will be using the page header, the article headers properties and article footer properties to make our page like this. So see you in the next tutorial, guys and girls. Take care. Bye bye. Hey guys, welcome to your 10th HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial by ifactoner.com, and we are making a full functional website using the new HTML5 tags and CSS3 properties and external style sheet. And in this tutorial we would be styling our articles. Right now our page looks like something like this, and we want it to look like this. So now we want to change the background color of our article, the background color of the heading of our article, and the background color of the footer of our article. So I go to my template.html and see that these two articles belong to the class main underscore articles. I go to my CSS file, that is ifactoner.css file, and in the main underscore articles I say that the background color of my articles is, I have already noted the RGB values, and that is 198,255,255, and I save my file. I go to template.html, click on run command and launch my file in HTML. ml. So now the background color of the whole article is greenish blue, and I want the background color of the heading or the header section of the article to be yellow, like this. So I just go to my template.html file and see that the headers tags in both the articles are okay. I go to ifactoner.css file and I tell my CSS file that you need to select the header of the articles with the class which are in the class of main articles. So I say that you need to select the header tag in the articles which belong to main underscore article class, and you need to change the background color to yellow. And I save my file, refresh, and the background colors of my articles have been changed to yellow, and I have already changed the weight to 330 pixels because that's what we had already calculated. And then I need to change the background color of my footer of my articles to gray, and the text color in the footer of those articles into red. So I just copy and paste this code, and I just change it from header to footer because we have already defined the footers in our HTML file, right? That's why, because we had defined the footers, different footers in our HTML file. I go to my footer file and I say that your background color needs to be gray and the font color needs to be white, and I save my template.css file, ifactoner.css file. And one more thing, that I also want the color of the main footer to be white. Therefore I change it and I save it. I go to template.html, I click on run command and then click on launch in Chrome command. So now my articles have been changed, and one thing I remember is that we need the color of the footer of the articles to be red. Therefore it's really easy. I just click change it to red and I go and refresh my file, and now it's almost in the same format as we wanted our it in our template. One thing, that the blue color is not matching, and it's because I have given the header, which is page header, to be blue, but rather I should give the RGB values to make it more similar to my template, and the RGB values are 22,0,180, and I save my file, I refresh my file and I refresh, and now it's almost similar to our template. So in this file we have got the header using the header tag, navigation using the nav tag, sidebar using the side tag, main section by using the section tag, and the articles in the main section by using the article tag, and the footer is created using the footer tag. So in the next concluding tutorial we will be making the copy of this template and make 3 pages: home, tutorials and contact us, and that would be all for this tutorial series. So see you in the next concluding tutorial. Take care guys, bye bye. Welcome back, guys and girls, to your 11th HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial by ifactioner.com. And in this tutorial series, we are learning to make a full functional static website for beginners using the HTML5 tags and the CSS3 external file. And now this is the last tutorial. We would be copying our template and we would be discussing about further improvements. So I open my template.html file, and in the hyperreference section I would name the home page of my site as index.html, and I would name the tutorials page as tutorial.html, and I would name the contact us page as contact.html, and I save my template. And now I would just make 3 copies of this template, and I first click save as and name it as index, and I click on save, and this would be our index page. And to know that it's the index page, I write welcome to ifactioner.com video tutorials home page, right, guys and girls? And then I go to run command in Notepad++ and then click on launch in Chrome. Now this is my home page. I click on home and it takes me to my home page, and then I can save this index.html as tutorial.html. I click on save as tutorial.html, and in the tagline I say tutorial page, and you can just delete one article from the tutorial page, and I save this page, click on run command, go to launch in Chrome, and now look, my tutorial page has only got one article, and in this article you can make changes as you would like to. And when I click on my home page, it takes me to my home page. When I click on my tutorials page, it takes me to my tutorial page. And now we would be creating our contact us page. I just save as my tutorial page as contact.html, and in the articles I just need to make some changes. Contact us, here you can say that email address, and you can say that you can contact us at info@ifactioner.com, and that is it, I think. Click on save button, click on run command, and then launch your page in Chrome. And then you have got your contact us page, you have got your tutorial page, and you have got your home page. And in the contact us page I just need to make some changes. I just have to write that this is the contact us page, and you can use actually you should be using the template. I was just using the shortcut to make these pages, but you can open the template.html file and save it as index.html, contact.html, and so on and so forth, and make the changes. And that is a pretty good website for the beginners, and in the intermediate tutorials we would be learning how to improve this website, how to improve the menus, and so on and so forth. So guys and girls, see you in the next tutorials, and please check out my tutorials on ifactoner.com, and you can also check my css3 tutorials and html5 introductory tutorials. Guys and girls, thank you very much. ifactoner is signing off. Take care. Bye. Hey guys and girls, what's going on? Welcome to your first HTML5 inline SVG tutorial, which is a part of ifactoner.com HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial series. In this tutorial and in the next few tutorials, we would be using inline HTML5 SVG code to develop graphics in the SVG format. The first questions which comes to our mind is, what is SVG? Well, SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, and it is a language which is used to describe 2D graphics using XML, which is Extendable Markup Language. In SVG, for SVG graphics or the scalable vector graphics, we use the XML format. We use the same node structure as we use for XML file, and that is why the graphics which are created in scalable vector graphics format are smaller in size. And because we only define the dimensions of those graphics which we create in scalable vector graphics scenario, therefore they are created in lines and curves, and that's why they don't lose quality when we zoom them in. So if we zoom in the graphics, they do not lose the quality. And scalable vector graphics allow three types of graphics to be inserted in the SVG area, and those three types of graphics are, as you have already guessed, the first one is vector graphics shapes, and basically it's the path and the straight lines and other stuff. Secondly, we can use images in the SVG area to develop SVG graphics, and we can draw curves here in the SVG working area. And SVG working area can be dynamic and interactive. By dynamic I mean that SVG graphics, we can load SVG graphics dynamically on our page, and then we can change them and animate them, and they can respond to user inputs, and therefore we call them interactive. We can use JavaScript to make them interactive and dynamic, and therefore SVG can also be used to make simple SVG games. And the file extension of SVG files are SVG, and because these files are in XML format, we can compress them and we can use the extension svg.svgz, and we can use SVG graphics in our web pages either using the inline code inline SVG code to develop graphics in our web pages, or we can use different SVG graphics making programs, for example InPage or Adobe Illustrator, to make those graphics, and then we can import those graphics or show those graphics in our html5 pages. So there are different methods to use SVG, in which SVG can be used in our HTML5 pages. The first method is inline SVG, which would be the main focus of our tutorials. That is, we write code to develop SVG graphics in our HTML pages. And the other method is that you can develop SVG graphics, SVG, in different graphics program, and then you can use the object tags to embed them in your pages, or you can use the iframe tag to import them or to show them in your pages, or simply you can use img source tag to show SVG graphics in your pages. And you can also use SVG graphics as the background images on your pages using CSS. So these are different methods which we can use to use SVG graphics in our pages, but our focus would be on inline SVG code. And one more thing, that SVG is not a new technology, or it's not a new way of developing graphics in our pages. W3C has been working on SVG standardization since 1999, and when it was introduced, it was called the Flash killer, but it could never compete with the Flash. It has never been able to give the real competition to the Flash, but with inline SVG in HTML5, it is now hoped that it would give some kind of competition to Flash, Adobe Flash. And in the next tutorial, we would be discussing the difference between the graphics which we create using the canvas tag and the graphics which we create using the SVG tags. So please join me in the next ifactioner.com tutorial. Take care. Bye bye. Hey guys and girls, welcome to your second HTML5 inline SVG tutorial, and which is the part of ifactioner.com HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial series. And now we would be discussing about the difference between the graphics which we create using the canvas tag and the graphics which we create in the SVG format. So you guys would be saying, hey ifactioner, I know that we can create the graphics in canvas tag, and now you are telling us that we can also create the graphics in the SVG format. So what is the difference? Because we can create the same circles, rectangle, lines, polygons and polylines in the canvas tag, then why do we need SVG? Well, the answer lies in the quality. For this, we would be seeing two live examples, and in these two examples, these graphics have been created in the canvas of HTML5, and these graphics are created in SVG. So the first difference is that the graphics which we create in canvas are raster based graphic. You can say it's a say it as raster based or raster based. So it's raster based graphics, which means that these graphics or shapes which I have created in canvas tag, they have been created in the dot format. So a lot of little dots have been combined to make these shapes. These shapes are in the bitmap format. So when we zoom them in, not zoom out but zoom in, you will see that they start to lose their quality, and we can see that those dots started to appear in our picture. In other words, the quality of picture is depreciated. Whereas images created in canvas are raster based, the images created in SVG format are vector based graphics. They are called scalable vector graphics because we can scale them in, zoom them in, or scale them out, zoom them out, and they will not lose the quality. They are created using lines, paths, and curves. That is why when I zoom my graphics which are created in SVG, they do not lose the quality because they have been created in vector graphics format. And the other difference between the graphics created in canvas and the graphics created in SVG format, or the difference between the canvas and the SVG, is that if I need to animate an image or a part of the graphic in canvas, then I have to redraw the whole canvas, and this means a lot of work for your processing machine, that is your computer. Whereas if I would like to redraw or animate my images in SVG, then I only need to change the dimensions or the X and Y properties with the width and height of that graphic, and that's all. That means less processing for the computers. So it is advisable to animate your graphics in SVG format, and we can make games which are more efficient in SVG format than in canvas. The number 3 difference between the canvas and the SVG is that SVG graphics are, or the SVG files are made in the XML format, whereas our canvas graphics are drawn using the scripting language, and mostly we use JavaScript. So it also means that in some ways the computers have to process more in case of the canvas element as compared to SVG element. So these are the 3 main differences between the SVG. And another difference is that SVG has been in the scene since 1999, or you can say 1998, whereas the canvas element is the new element which has been introduced in HTML5. and it was not present in HTML4 or XHTML. And the new thing about SVG file is that now we can use the inline code, inline SVG, to develop our SVG graphics in the html5 file, and we would be doing that in our next tutorial. So thank you very much for joining me this tutorial, in which we have discussed the difference between the canvas and SVG. See you in the next ifactioner.com video tutorial. Take care. Bye bye. Hey guys and girls, welcome to your third HTML5 inline SVG tutorial, which is a part of ifactioner.com HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial series. I would like to tell you that if you would like to download the code and the graphics which we will create in this tutorial series, then you can go to ifactioner.com and download the codes. In this part of HTML5 inline SVG tutorial, we would be making a new HTML5 file, and we would be using SVG tag, and we would then make a rectangle by using the rect tag within the SVG tag. So let's begin. I am using Notepad++, and you can also download the free Notepad++ from their website. In Notepad++, I click on File menu and then select the new command, and a new file opens in my Notepad++ working area. I click on File, Save As, and give a name to my file, which is ifactioner-svg-rect, and I select in the Save As type dialog box hypertext markup language. Now it would save my file in .html format, and I click on the Save button. I would make an HTML5 document. Therefore, I tell my system that its doc type is HTML, and we know that we start our HTML documents with HTML tag and end our HTML documents or web pages with HTML tag. There are two main parts of HTML web page, that is the head and the body tag. Head tag is basically used to give the title to our page, to give meta tags, description, keywords to our page, and we can use scripts and style sheets tags in our head. Whereas the body tag is the main component, or the main thing which or the main meat of our web pages, and these are the pages, these are the content which a user sees on our page. In the head tag, I give a title to my page, that is ifactioner tutorial of inline SVG, because we would be using the inline SVG code in HTML5 to create our graphics. I have already told you that we can also make or create SVG graphics using graphics program, and then import them or embed them using the object iframe or image source. But in this tutorial, we would be using inline code to develop our SVG graphics. Once I have given my title, I go to my body tag and start my SVG tag, and SVG tag is represented by SVG. And it is always a good idea to give an ID to your elements. I would not be using the ID tag to refer to my SVG element, but if you would be using internal styles or external style sheets or JavaScript to refer to this SVG, then it's a good idea to give an ID to your SVG element. So we give an ID of my SVG, and then you can specify the width and height of your SVG element. So I say that the width of my working area would be 600 pixels or 600 points, and the height would be around 400 pixels or 400 points. And I can use the namespace which would be XML and S. We will discuss what is a namespace and why do we need to refer to the namespace hyperlinks in a short while. But let's write the code. XML and S equals to http://www.w3.org/2000/svg. If you do not give the namespace, XML namespace property in your tag, even then your SVG will work. And in these examples, we do not need to give this namespace, but it's a good idea to do that. And we close our tag with the SVG/SVG. I save my file and then I go to Run menu and then select Launch in Chrome command, because I'm using Chrome as my browser. So now our new file has been created, but we cannot see the background of our SVG or the background of our page. It is due to the fact that SVG inherits the properties of its parent element. And in this scenario, the parent element is the body tag, which has the background color of white. That's why we have got the background color of white in our SVG element. But if I would like to change the background color of my SVG or other properties of my SVG, then I can do that using the inline styles or the internal style sheets or the external style sheets. For the ease of understanding, I would be using the inline styles for my SVG elements, but in the real life it is not recommendable. So either you should be using the internal styles or the external style sheets. And if you would like to know how can we do that, then please refer to my html5 and css3 tutorials. So I write style for the internal style, and I use equals to and double quote, and I say that the background color of my SVG element should be yellow. So I write background color property should be yellow. I end my statement with a semicolon and then apply double quotes. I save my page. I go to my browser window and click on the refresh button, and now you see that we have an SVG working area of 600 by 400 pixels and whose background color is yellow. Similarly, you can apply the outline to your SVG element and you can change the border style and so on and so forth. And you can apply margins, padding, and what else or what not you would like to do to your SVG element. Now let's discuss about the namespaces. So as SVG uses the XML to define the coordinates of its shapes, therefore we would be needing namespaces. And what is a namespace and why do we need it? Let's discuss it. Let's suppose that we have got two XML files and we have given the same node, for example table, in both of our files, but to refer to different entities. And in future, if we would like to use both of these XML files or concatenate them and use them, then we will be facing the problem, because now the table node would be used to refer to two different elements. That's why we need a namespace. And namespace is just a simple text like h.table for the first XML file and r.table for the second XML file. So this h colon or r colon is called the namespace, and usually we refer to the namespace hyperlink to tell our browser to follow the instructions from this hyperlink, which is in case of SVG www.w3.org/2000/svg. Right now we are not using the namespace in our very simple examples, therefore we can always delete this XML NS property. So in the next tutorial we would continue our discussion and we would be drawing the rectangle within our SVG tag. So please join me in the next ifactoner.com html5 inline SVG tutorial. Take care. Bye bye. What's going on, guys and girls? I welcome you to your fourth HTML5 inline SVG tutorial, which is a part of ifactoner.com HTML5 and CSS3 video tutorial series. And now we would continue our discussion about drawing a rectangle within our SVG working area. So I go to my file and in my SVG tag I write rect, which is the reserved word to draw a rectangle within the SVG element, and I give an ID to my rectangle, which would be my rect, and I give the width property of my rectangle, and I say that my rectangle would be 300 pixels wide and it would be 100 pixels in height. And you can end your example with slash and greater than sign. I save my page, go to run menu, and then select launch in Chrome command. And now you see that we have got a rectangle within our SVG tag, and this rectangle is black in color and it starts from 0 point on the x-axis and 0 point on the y-axis. Let's suppose that we would like to change the color of our rectangle, and we would like it to start from 10 pixels on the x-axis and 10 pixels on the y-axis. then how can we do that? For that, I just say that my X position is 10 and I want my rectangle to start on the Y-axis on 10 points as well. And then I say that I use the fill property to tell my browser that I want my rectangle to be blue in color. And then I click on the save button, go to my browser, click on reload this page, and now you see that our rectangle is starting from 10 points on the x-axis and 10 points on the y-axis, and it is blue in color. So now let's make a square in front of our blue rectangle. How can we do that? It is really simple. You just copy this line of code and paste it. I would use the zoom out button to zoom out my text, so it would be easier to see all the text. And now I say that the ID of my rectangle number 2 is my rect2. The width would be 100 pixels, the height would be 100 pixels, and I want my rectangle to start from here. So now on the y-axis, on the x-axis, I have already started my first rectangle at 10 pixels, and the total width of my rectangle is 300. So it is taking the 310 pixels space. So it is ending at 310 pixels. I would like my second rectangle to start from here. So I would add 310 plus 10 pixels. So I would give the X position to be 320. And I would like to start my square from here. Therefore, the Y position is 10 pixels. So I do not change the Y position. I change the fill color of my second rectangle to be green. And now I would use the inline styles to apply the stroke or the line to my or the border to my rectangle, and I would change the width and color of that stroke or the border. So how can I do that? I simply write style equals to stroke, which would be red in color. I end the statement with the semicolon, and then I say that the stroke width should be 5 pixels. I click on and then I close my style tag with a double quote. I click on the save button, go to my browser, click on refresh button, and now a perfect square has appeared on our SVG area with a background of green and a border color of red, and the border width is 5 pixels. If I zoom in my graphic, you can see that it is not losing the quality. Why? Because it is in scalable vector graphics format. So this is how we create a rectangle in our SVG using the inline SVG code. In the next tutorial, I would tell you how can we make different types of circles in our SVG element. So please join me in the next ifectner.com video tutorial. If you would like to download the code for this tutorial, then please visit ifectioner.com. Take care. Bye bye. Hey guys and girls, welcome back to your 17th ifectioner.com html5 canvas tutorial. And in this tutorial we would draw or redraw the image on our canvas, and we would resize it on our canvas image. So right now our canvas looks like this, and now I go to Notepad++ in my canvas images.html file, and you can download this file from ifectioner.com along with the logo and other source files. And then I see that now I want to use the draw image method with the width and the height dimensions. So I just copy this line and comment this line in my JavaScript code, scroll down, and so I say that now jctx.drawImage method should draw the image and the image name is img at, let's say, 10 points on x-axis and 100 points on y-axis. 1 2 3 4 10 points on the x-axis and let's say 100 points on the y-axis. And the original width and height of the image is 100 pixels by 75 pixels. So I say that I want to draw the image with the width of 50 pixels and height of, let's suppose, 20 pixels. So it would resize my image because of the destination width and destination height dimensions. I click on the save button on my Notepad++, go to my browser, click on the reload button, and I see that now I have an image with different dimensions on my canvas. In the same fashion, I would like to enlarge my image. Therefore, I would use the same command or the same method, jctx.drawImage. I give the name of my image, and I would like to start my image at, let's say, 100 pixels on the x-axis and 170 pixels on the y-axis. I would like to draw it from here. Therefore, I give 100 pixels for the x-axis, 100 points, and 150 points for the y, 120 points for the y-axis. And this time I would like to enlarge my image. So I say that the width of my image would be 200 pixels and height of my image would be 150 pixels. Right? I end my statement with a semicolon, click on the save button, go to my browser, or I choose run launch in Chrome command from Notepad++, and now see that I have got another copy of my image and it has been enlarged. Why? Because I have given the dimensions 200 and 150 for my image. So this is how you can resize your image and draw it on your canvas. In the next tutorial, we would see how can we cut a part of our picture, source picture, from our file and draw it on our canvas, and we will be using the resize properties to resize our image parts on our canvas. So please join me in the next ifectioner.com video tutorial. Take care. Bye bye.